Greetings, one and all, to another review game tasting session of manicness stuff. I am joined here yet again by the amazing and lovely talented Yi, who did the lovely asking of the questions because I'm too incompetent to do anything as usual.
Yeah, shouldn't be so down on yourself. At the moment, I'm not sure I really like the way whenever you say that, amazing, intelligent, blah blah, always makes me think of Trixie from My Little Pony. So, you are playing Diablo 3, as we have discussed. What are you playing? Necromancer, isn't it? Because I've just seen a lot of things running.
Yep. Yep, I am a Necromancer. So, this came out... The Necromancer came out, was it last year? Or yeah, I'm pretty sure it was
2017. Maybe... I just read it.
Yeah. Yeah. And... I was a huge fan of the Necromancer in Diablo 2. I thought it was one of the favourite classes of the game. It was great fun. You had your hordes of skeleton warriors, skeleton mages, and your golem. I always preferred to have the blood golem. And yeah.
Is this a game that is this a type of game that you usually play, like genre?
I do like action RPGs. They are very much a dumbed-down version of the more in-depth RPGs like World of Warcraft, so on and so forth, where you have God knows how many stats up the wazoo, and you know, this is certainly easier to digest. Yeah, unfortunately, my Necromancer hasn't been around for that long, and thus doesn't have all the cool kick-ass gear, and as a result, I die quite easily. Oops, wrong one.
My understanding is there is the campaign that you go off to save the world or do whatever you need to do, and then there's the stuff where there's other stuff as well, correct?
Yes, so you have the single-player campaign, which, in all honesty, you'll probably do once and then never touch again. Then after that you have the adventure mode unlocked to you. You can play the adventure mode with your friends in case you haven't already unlocked it. But in order to unlock it for yourself, you have to complete the main campaign.
Two people watching, I do actually have a copy of Diablo. I didn't pay for it because I got it through when they did the offer on WoW.
Mr. Pandaria.
Yeah, Mr. Pandaria's annual pass offer. So that's how I got it, and I didn't really get on with it that well.
It's not for everyone. To be honest, I typically use games like Diablo 3 as a escape from games that I typically play, like Warframe, just to give myself a different perspective on what I have with Warframe. A lot of people typically burn out on various games, be it Warframe, or League of Legends, or Heroes of the Storm, or whatever they play. And it's always good to have a game that you can go to that puts things in perspective.
Right.
For me, that is Diablo 3.
So you play it to remind yourself it's bad? Or...
No, I play it to remind myself that some of the complaints people have in other communities aren't genuinely warranted. I enjoyed Diablo 3, sure, but I certainly couldn't play Diablo 3 24/7 like I could play something like Warframe.
Yeah.
How many name drops for Warframe can I make?
So, okay, you mentioned the adventure mode. What difference is that? Is it basically you can just play through the game, like the areas of the campaign that you've unlocked as you've gone through it, or...
So right now I'm playing the adventure mode, and the idea is that you have a set number of bounties in which you need to complete in order to get a Herodric cache. That's lore relative stuff. So in the bottom right hand corner here of the map, you'll see that I have bounties available to me. I've currently done the first one. I still have another 4 to go before I can actually get the large Herodric cache. Again, lore stuff. I can go to any location in any of the acts to do these bounties, and that is essentially what the adventure mode is.
Okay.
The campaign mode, it is literally doing the plot from Act 1 to Act 5 again and again and again, And that was one of the reasons why they introduced the adventure mode, because people were getting really bored of doing the same thing over again.
So what do you like about the game?
I like the simple nature of it. I like the simplicity in the RPG elements. So when you are playing with your characters and things, you will have 3 core stats. So bringing up the character sheet now, you have damage, toughness, and recovery. Damage is the amount of damage you produce. Toughness is how survivable you are, and recovery is how quickly you regain your stats and things, your health and stuff.
Right.
And when you have X piece of gear and things, the game does an amazing job of breaking it down to what statistics are affected based on that piece of equipment. So we see this helmet that I've got, the Prospect. The Prospect? Yeah, the Prospect. We have minus 9.9% damage, minus 6.3% toughness, and plus 3% recovery. To me, that is absolute garbage, right? Toughness and damage are the stats I care about.
Okay, so that's what you like about the game, and there are bits that you don't like, that, you know, you feel that, words, a detriment?
The RNG is strong with this one. I'm not kidding. So I'm gonna swap character. Can I easily swap character? So I needed to find a specific flail, which took me, I think, 7 months to actually find a single copy of. So in Diablo, you have set bonuses, you have legendary effects on your equipment, and one of said effects is that your blessed shield, in that case my right-click ability, has no resource cost.
Right.
Right? Which is absolutely phenomenal when this legendary, Blessed Shield, ricochets an additional 6 times. Sorry, to 6 additional enemies, and its damage is increased by 200%. So those two go hand in hand really, really well. As I said, it took me 7 months to find this sodding flail to the point of... Yeah, I think I rage quit Diablo a large number of times and went, right, I'm going to go play something fun.
It's been out a few years now, so how does it compare now to what it was like back in like 2012 or so?
It's grown a lot. When the game first came out, there was an absolutely crazy... Oh, what's the name of the thing? Auction house system, which I don't know what Blizzard were thinking. I really don't. You could actually buy equipment for real money equivalent. And it was like, you are playing with fire. You are seriously playing with fire at this point.
I'd completely forgotten about it. So basically they made it pay to win for a game that you'd already bought. So you had Reaper of Souls, and then... You, if I'm correct, the Necromancer was... Well, Reaper of Souls was obviously after 2012, but it was before 2017, which is when the Necromancer came out. So was that an expansion, or was it just a bit?
So this is where it gets a little confusing. The Necromancer came out as part of, like, an update. However, in order to actually play as a Necromancer character, it required a transaction of some form. So, like, you had to pay, I think, £15
right, in
order to actually be able to play as a Necromancer. However, the rest of the content that came out at the same time as the Necromancer was free to anyone. Anyone with the copy of Diablo 3, they could play that stuff. But in order to play a Necromancer, you had to pay £15 for it.
So, so basically, it was a paid DLC for a character.
Kind of, yes.
Is it worth it?
I honestly don't know. I want to say it is worth it, but it doesn't bring anything super new to the game. I don't get to play anything particularly amazingly new with the Necromancer that I wouldn't have had access to anywhere else.
Right.
There were cool little bits of lore that get introduced with the Necromancer, but you know, I thought £15 was a pretty steep asking price.
Yeah, for just a character.
The shocking thing to me is that Blizzard haven't done like multiple character classes. Like, oh hey, we've got the Necromancer now in the game. Let's do the Druid. Let's do the Paladin. You know, let's do various other characters, the Assassin, whatever. They only did the Necromancer, and I think the price that they had set was possibly beyond what people were willing to pay. And maybe that's the reason why they didn't consider doing additional classes or any further additional classes. So yeah, I think you're asking me the question, is it worth the money?
Yeah, essentially.
I certainly feel that Diablo 3 and Reaper Souls for £25 is worth the money. I don't think...
Oh, the Necromancer is $12.99.
Okay, I don't feel that Diablo 3, Reaper of Souls, and then the Necromancer for, what, £37? £38? Is worth it. And that is solely because you're just getting one character.
Yeah.
Like that might be like, oh, but it's the Necromancer or whatever. But honestly, like, if you go away, you play Diablo 3 and Reaper Souls, and you're like, oh, I love this game, I'm gonna consider getting the Necromancer. Then, you know, go for it. But if you're new to Diablo 3 and you're considering, you know, should I buy the whole kit and caboodle, I would say no.
If you are new to the franchise, like you've not played 1 or 2 before, is it a good introduction? Are you just thrown into the middle of it? Do you need to have played the first ones?
I don't think you need to play the first ones, because Diablo 3 does a very good job of telling you how it all started.
Right.
It doesn't really tell you the events of the second one, but really you don't need... you don't really need to know the events of the second one. So it tells you what you need to know. And it certainly expands a lot more on the lore than what the first and the second game did.
Right. And is it easy to pick up?
Yes, it's very easy to pick up and play. The starting tutorial section of the game is the same for every character, everyone.
So, okay, if I was wanting to, or if I was somebody who had never played the game before, saying it's easy to pick up,
yes,
would you recommend watching a Let's Play, or just going blind and just see what happens?
I would say going blind. You don't really need to see a Let's Play to understand how this game works. The learning curve is quite shallow on this one.
Yeah.
Unlike games like Warframe. Wow, Drew, are you ever going to stop dropping hints at Warframe? No!
Oh, cool.
I will say, though, that later on in the lifespan of playing the game, you will want to get to a point of, right, what equipment do I want? What is a good build? So on and so forth. That is when you would go on YouTube and you would do the searching. I think there is someone by the name of Riker, who is a content creator that primarily focuses on Diablo 3 and highlights cool, good builds and stuff like that.
And do you think it's a good gateway for people who have sort of never played these types of games before?
Yeah. I would certainly say that Diablo 3 is a better gateway to playing action RPGs than the likes of Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Okay.
Certainly easier to pick up what you're doing.
What other... I mean, the only ones I know of these types of games are Marvel's Ultimate Alliance and this. So, what are the action RPGs out there?
So, there are quite a few. There's... Oh god, is it Torchlight? There's one... There's Path of Exile, which is more along the lines of Diablo 2's gigantic talent tree of death. There's some of the older ones, like if you've got the older consoles, X-Men Legends, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1. Don't bother with the Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2. It's not done by Raven Software. It was very much a cash grab and was pathetic in comparison. What else was there? Trying hard to think now. There are quite a number out there. Like, I think Path of Exile is potentially the biggest one, but it's certainly a lot harder to pick up than the likes of Diablo 3. I've tried to pick it up, and I'm like, I don't understand, I don't get it, it's too hard!
And of course, got to ask, does it have a better plot than Destiny 2?
Yes, it has certainly a better plot than Destiny 2. Pretty much anything has a better plot than Destiny 2.
Hey.
Except for Destiny 2. Destiny 2 has a really bad plot compared to Destiny 2.
So, actually, that was something you said earlier, that you can jump into games with your friends. So, is it primarily a single-player game, but you can actually group together and run the gauntlet side by side, sort of thing?
It's certainly a friend game. It's co-op. It's online multiplayer. It's always online, which was a huge bone of contention when it first came out, because not everyone had the internet connections to always be online, especially if the service went down.
Yeah, one of my work colleagues plays as well, and he and his friends used to play Diablo 2, and they would... They're a bit older than me. He's a bit older than me. He's like, about 16 years older than me. So when they were playing it and doing LAN parties, they were pretty much just picking up their PCs and going together, and taking them with them, sort of thing. And they liked the fact that, they could just go to somebody's house and play a LAN party and not have an internet, just set up the network between the PCs and play the game. Fantastic. They were really pissed off that you had to have an internet connection to even do that for Diablo 3. So I can understand where they're coming from, but I'd say it's one of those things that I've not really got any feelings on, because I'm not back into the game.
For anyone that's actually listening, I would be very interested to know how many people don't have a reliable internet connection, or have I'll put it in as a card in this. I didn't really intend to have many YouTube cards, but if you're interested in helping out with statistics, turn on the cards using the annotations found at the bottom in the cog, and let me know, do you... Whoops, I didn't mean to turn that on. Let me know, do you have a sustainable internet connection, or, do you have problems where your internet craps out for hours at a time? So right now I have... In Diablo 3 you can get this resource called Blood Shards, and they can be used to trade for stuff from this lovely lady, Kaldala, and in order to actually, when you're trading it, you choose which specific item you want from her. It costs a certain number of blood shards, but it will give you a random item, and
Ooh, more RNG. The joy.
More RNG.
I mean, is the RNG something that you would want to change? Or are there any other...
Oh, God, yeah. So one thing I'd certainly want changed is specific items drop from specific acts, or specific regions in an act, or something like that. unfortunately, everything drops from everything in this, and it's just like, well, this is about as appealing as a brick to the face.
Ah, right. So it's not a case of. So you mean that you could, if you're after a super spangly bow, you can get that super spangly bow anywhere in game. So you just have to basically wander around until you find it, instead of just going, I can get it from here, from this thing, with a... Like you do in WoW. It's like, I need bear tongues. We'll go get bear tongues from over there.
Or, for example, a flail. Yeah, it's painful. It's really, really unbearably painful, and I don't want it. Don't want it. Do not want.
So is that something that you'd want? If you were recommending somebody to the game, would you just say it's good, but
if you're not prepared for the long haul, I certainly would say don't get the Necromancer expansion. It is good, but it is a huge time sink to get any of the cool stuff.
Actually, that's one thing I want to check. Is there's a story mode? I'm assuming that ends. Obviously, you get to the end of the story.
Yes.
Is there room for continuation? Or
yes, there is. A lot of people feel that, oh no, there is no room for continuation. No, there genuinely is room for continuation. Yeah, so we've been wondering for a while what are Blizzard up to in terms of their intellectual properties and their different game franchises and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're planning on doing, because they seem to be really focusing on the plot for World of Warcraft. They seem to be really I don't know. It's like they've gone really radio silent for the last several months.
Well, they've probably been waiting for BlizzCon.
Quite possibly. But yeah, so don't know what they're doing. I'm interested to know if they do an expansion for Diablo 3. I'll think, well, a big gap in between, but I'd certainly welcome it.
Okay, so overall, how would you rate it out of 10?
I love how I've left that question in there.
Yeah, and you're going to get thrown it pretty much every week. Or every time, well, we don't do this weekly, but every time we do this.
I reckon if you want a game that you can sink hours and hours and hours of your life into, certainly get this game. If you are not really interested in RPGs, you're more of a I just want to run and gun, then I personally don't think Diablo 3 is going to be for you.
Or if you don't have enough time, I guess.
Well, you can still have fun playing the game without getting the top tier gear. As I said, it's taken me months to get
a flail
where I am now. Yeah, a bloody flail. That makes all the difference for my build. But
yeah.
You know, if you just want something that's an action RPG that's nice and fun, then yeah, I think Diablo 3 can work.
Oh, that's weird. What's okay, you've got your health orb. What's going on with the other one?
Right, so all the classes have different types of resources. So
like I think it's the monk has like a holy power, doesn't he?
He has, I don't know what his is. Is it wisdom or wrath? No, the Crusader's wrath.
Yeah, it looked similar to the monk's one. I remember the white glowy thing.
Yeah. So I can't remember what the monk's one is. The demon hunter has hatred and discipline. So different abilities require different resources.
Right.
And you generate the resource doing different things. The necromancer has... I can't remember them. They're all different, right? So typically you have a resource generator ability, right? So that will be your like primary click or your secondary click or something like that. And it will, well, probably your primary click actually. It will it will generate your primary resource, and your secondary click will drain that resource. So in here you'll see I have 3 and 4 will actually cost hatred. My right click will also cost hatred, but my 1 and 2 will actually cost discipline instead.
Okay.
Right? So the Demon Hunter is a dual resource character. So thank you very much everyone for listening. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have any comments or want to improve my abilities, please leave a comment in the comment section below. If you think I should play a game that you think would be right up my alley, please leave again a comment saying, oh, you should play this game. Hit that like button, the subscribe, the bell, the shenanigans, and Yi and I will catch you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.